Congratulations that TikTok enters the 2021 BrandZ Top 100 Most Valuable Global Brands. Thank you very much, Nick, for accepting our interview. Over the past year, TikTok continues to strengthen its brand value and its impact through exceeding the expectations of consumers around the world. As the builder of TikTok brand, what do you think are the key drivers behind TikTok's brand growth?
So the key drivers to TikTok's brand growth over the last year is really four things. The first thing is the community. It's without a doubt that the creator community is at the heart and soul of what TikTok is, because they really make our platform an entertainment platform powered by the community. They bring to life things that are entertaining and relatable every single day on the platform. We also recognize that this TikTok community is diverse, it's authentic, it's multi-generational, and the fact that they're being their authentic selves, they are relatable, they're having fun, and they're truly inclusive. That's kind of one of the key pillars on what makes our brand what it is today. Secondly, it's about the platform. I think when you take a look at the product and the platform itself, it's truly living up to the mission of inspiring creativity and bringing joy, because we provide this canvas for people to be themselves. It's immersive, it's easy to use, and it enables people to just come up with whatever they want to come up with and essentially bring that to such an amazing audience overall. We also think that the ease of use is a real key factor to what makes it so unique. The next key driver is really the ability for TikTok to be where culture starts. It's why we came up with this campaign in August of 2020. It starts on TikTok. It's really this idea that these trends have come to life because this community can be themselves and they are so authentic. That culture really is incubated and brought to life on the TikTok platform. We see that across celebrities, public figures, and even down to the everyday person who finds a way to bring their authentic self to the platform. The last one is really the idea of music. I think you can't talk about TikTok without recognizing that at its heart, the DNA of TikTok is really anchored on the idea of music and bringing these sounds to life, whether they're actual tracks that you recognize in pop culture or whether it's just a unique sound that the community brings to life in the original format. So those are probably the key areas that I think are really driving the brand and helping us grow.
TikTok is a disruptor and a new leader in today's media and social communication world. What role does TikTok brand play to meet your overall business growth strategy?
It starts with this idea of TikTok bringing value to people in their everyday life. I think we've become a ubiquitous part of people's lives, and the value we bring isn't just in the form of entertainment, which we do at scale, but it's also this idea of giving people an opportunity to learn something or be inspired by something or making connections with people from all parts of the world and in different generations. I think the key differentiator is that people also watch TikTok. It truly is an entertainment platform powered by the community. We also find that every day the people who are creating content on TikTok are expressing themselves and connecting with audiences and communities, and they're finding ways to deliver this message in only a way that I think TikTok is able to really cultivate, which is that authenticity that I spoke about before. I also think that the role of our brand is to help underrepresented voices come to life. I think when you see that happening on a platform, you can understand how a platform can actually drive true growth by amplifying underrepresented voices at scale. I also think we are able to change what the idea is of a cultural moment and then really bring that to people at scale, whether it's the Nathan Apodaca video with him drinking ocean spray or whether it's sea shanties. I think you really get a sense of how we're part of people's everyday lives. Even in moments that should be frustrating, they're able to create something meaningful on the platform and then bring that to life in a way that entertains the masses.
The world is rapidly changing, especially in the post-COVID era. More and more competitors actually launch similar functions like TikTok. For example, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Kwai. How can TikTok keep up with the pace of consumers' emerging needs? How can you make sure that TikTok is constantly innovating?
So this is a fairly easy question because we are really focused on bringing the values of our company and our brand to life and focusing on the community first. We're really here to support them, give them meaningful value, give them opportunities to showcase themselves, and allow our teams to just really focus on the needs that they have to be fun, creative, and find joy, as well as bring joy to everyone. I think at the core of that, we also want to make sure that the platform is safe and that people find it to be an environment where they can express themselves and not be, worried about, any of the issues that they might find on other platforms. Part of that is also to maintain this idea of authenticity so that people never feel like they have to be a version of themselves, but they can be their full self. So we actually definitely want to focus our efforts on providing that and identifying that as being a specific need. As I mentioned, our mission is really to inspire creativity. I think people by nature are creative. We want to make sure that we give everyone the freedom to be creative and to express themselves, whoever they are, in whatever environment they want to express themselves. And at the same time, we do believe that the platform is here to bring joy. So we will obviously ensure that it's a safe place for that. We also really value inclusivity. So we want to make a space for everyone. And we want to make sure that we celebrate that individuality and ensure that we highlight people from diverse backgrounds overall. And then the last area is really this idea of making a positive impact. I know that at the ByteDance level, our mission is to really enrich lives. And it's something that everyone in the company, whether it's TikTok or other apps within our portfolio, we're definitely here to contribute to make a positive impact to society at large, and especially to the user base that we have within this specific platform.
TikTok is now a truly global brand with very successful track record in multiple country markets. What are the lessons learned in building such a fast-rising global brand? If we compare against 10 years ago, what do you think are the key elements to build a strong brand in today's world?
So, with regards to this question of what makes a successful global brand today versus 10 years ago, I think it starts with authenticity, and I think most brands would echo that, but authenticity needs to be at the core of what brands do, and they need to make sure that they have a North Star and a true purpose. And if they are purpose-driven in their activity, then they're able to kind of showcase the why they do what they do versus just kind of showcasing what they're trying to sell to people. I think there's also an element in today's environment that speaks to accountability that we might not have had as much of 10 years ago. One of the things that I find to be really compelling is this idea that 10 years ago, the idea of brand was to really build this myth and try to convince people that this myth exists within your brand campaigns and in the overall architecture. And in today's environment, it's not enough just to create a myth around your brand. If you tell people things, there's a level of accountability that forces brands to essentially take actions to live up to the promise that they tell people. And I think in today's environment, if you don't have accountability for what you say you're going to do, it's going to create a lot of tension, a lot of issues that you have with your audience and your consumers, and even people who are non-users who might have a specific perspective about your brand. So those are all elements that I think make brands successful today. And I think the other aspect is continuing to be relatable and human. That's something that years ago brands may not have really felt the need to be. They probably were pushing more towards this overly ambitious, aspirational view of the world. But I think in today's environment, the sense of relatability and being human at the center of what your brand is essential to being successful. And that's not to say that luxury brands and certain brands won't succeed. I think they're catering to relatability within a certain niche audience, but I think collectively speaking, the brands that will win are relatable to their audience regardless of who they're targeting.
Based on your diversified experience, Nick, from developing a few very successful brands like Hulu, Taco Bell, Samsung, and today TikTok, and what are your recommendations for today's marketers?
Immediately think about, when I think about recommendations for today's marketers, is we've heard a lot about this idea of like the attention economy and people trying to get a share of attention overall. I firmly believe that attention should be the outcome and it shouldn't be your goal as a marketer. I think that if you do the things that provide value to your community, you will basically get attention. I also believe that brands that are successful are going to lean into their community and recognize how to be relevant in culture. An analogy that I think paints this picture pretty well is this idea of being on stage and thinking about performing to a degree. As a marketer, you often have a couple of different scenarios, and one scenario is you're on stage in front of thousands of people, and you're trying to tell people a message that doesn't benefit them, but it benefits you, and in which case the audience is going to kind of tune in or tune out. They might speak to each other. They might not really pay attention as much to what you're looking to say. Or you have the mentality of somebody who's really more so driving something that's engaging. So if they're performing and they're sharing something that's essentially the equivalent of like a brand campaign at the scale of like a Super Bowl ad or something in that realm, you can imagine that people will actually start to pay attention and understand what you're trying to say. The way to go even beyond that is to take this approach of not only am I going to perform on stage and make sure that you're compelled to see what I'm saying, but if I'm able to take that performance, sort of be one with the audience and essentially stage dive and crowd surf, you're essentially able to reach so many more people in a way that makes it to be relationship driven and allows them to feel a deeper sense of connection with you from a brand perspective. On the flip side, you also have the opportunity once you're down there to find and spotlight the individuals that you could bring up on stage with you. Because everyone's seen those clips that are viral where a musician is on stage and they bring up someone from the crowd on stage with them and they perform alongside them, and it becomes one of those moments that people never forget. And I think as a brand, you need to be able to take that opportunity to not only perform at a high level, but you want to be able to be one with the community and quote unquote crowd surf, and then eventually find those folks that you might want to bring up on stage with you from the community. And I think that's what TikTok does so well, and I think that that's something that I find that successful brands should think about when they're doing things to build their brand. It's definitely a recommendation that I would leverage.
Looking at the future, what are the top priorities for TikTok brand? How can you ensure its brand value will continue to grow?
I think this is really about continuing to focus on our community. We know how to really encourage people to be themselves and to have this platform that's all about inspiring creativity and bringing joy. I think if we can focus on doing what's best for the audience and ensuring that we bring value and identifying what categories that we can amplify both on and off platform, I think that'll be where we continue to grow in the future. When we look at the categories today that are very obviously performing well, you can see music and entertainment, and you start to see a lot of sports. You start to see arts and culture and learning and fashion and food and fitness and so many different categories that are just really proliferating on our platform. When you start to think about how we can extend those experiences both on and off the platform and bring it to life outside in a uniquely TikTok way, I think you'll start to see where we're going over the next year. We really believe that this idea of bringing the creator community and extending it to off-platform experiences are going to be really key ways for us to not only bring life to that creator community, but also stretch like the way that we are today, and not just be an app that's on your device, on your mobile device, but really think about where we have an opportunity to entertain people outside the platform at scale. So I think those are areas that you'll see us continue to grow and develop in the future, and something that I'm really excited to share, probably hopefully next year.
Thanks very much, Nick, for accepting our interview, and congratulations again to TikTok. All the best wishes.